Welcome to Seneca Spotlight. In today's episode, we sit down with Ty Cooper, the owner of none other than Tiffin's own Jeffrey Jewelry. If you like what you see on these episodes, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Hi Ty, how you doing?
We're doing good today.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you join us today, especially with the holiday season coming up. It is a big sales driver, I'm sure.
We hope so. If it's anything of years past, we should be in store for some serious traffic next couple weeks.
It sounds like it. So
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to have you back to talk about how the season went.
Be more than happy to.
Yeah. So you're a multi-generational entrepreneurship family.
We
Why
are.
don't you talk a little bit about how the company started and
Sure.
how you got here and even
Sure.
yeah.
Born in Norwalk, my father had always been in the jewelry industry in Norwalk. He started out in his early teens doing whatever a jewelry store needed, taking out trash, cleaning toilets, doing whatever they do. Worked his way into the shop a little bit, worked his way into the sales staff, the showroom, if you will, and he actually left to defend our country with Vietnam, came back, and from there it was kind of his calling. Worked in Norwalk still, started his family, and at the time, Jeffrey Jewelry, which was started in 1946, actually very close to here, downtown. At the time, it was going through a transition. It was going through the Fisk family, who had started it in 46, to two other entrepreneurs. There were two pharmacists, John Grizzleding and Bob Hunt, had bought the store. And they hired my father to help with the transition. They moved it from downtown to the Sanmar Center, which is also Domino's Pizza now. Yep. And my dad managed for a couple of years and was fortunate enough to purchase it from there. That was 1978 we purchased it. He doubled the size of that building. And then I joined in the early 90s, and we decided we were growing, thank goodness, and we decided to partner with a few others and build Wolf Creek as we see it today. We've been out there since 1997.
Yeah, I don't think folks realize, I guess, the whole history here. You know, we've heard time and time again that a lot of entrepreneurs kind of stumbled upon it or they accidentally got involved, and it sounds like that's really what your dad's story is.
That was the absolute truth. He, no one in his family had ever gone to college, came back from Vietnam. He thought maybe that's an option. I think he almost got a semester in at BG, but he would always say to me, hey, I had the School of Hard Knocks. He had a very good mentor, a very tough love type mentor, and I'm sure moving forward that's who he would probably give a lot of his accolades and his thanks to for building who he was. Always community minded, always faith oriented, and always customer service driven. And that's what hopefully he's instilled in me, and I can do the same.
Yeah, well, I think anyone who knows you knows you're very good with customer service. You really know how to talk to people, you know how to work with them, and you've got just a great business out there. And I don't think a lot of people understand you still own that entire Wolf Creek shopping center.
We
correct?
do.
That was
We
constructed.
do. We built that in 96, 97, and it's been good. We've had some really great tenants. It's a little nepotism. My sister with Threads has been out there.
Say, yeah, your sister has one of those many businesses.
There.
Yeah.
But it was again wasn't supposed to happen this way. You know, we had partnered with Sears. If you remember at the time, they were starting to do these Sears hardware stores. And again, we stumbled upon as the Goodwill organization was kind of growing and moving into bigger, fuller type shop complexes like ours instead of the downtowns. We were able to bring them in, and we've been full for probably about 5 years now. So it's been good to us.
Vacancies have been few and far between.
Very
out there.
few.
So,
Very few.
It's one of those places. There's a lot of neat little shops because you got the jewelry store, you've got your sister's business where you can get all kinds of different clothes, and then we can't forget the candy and ice cream shop.
Cannot forget Neumeister's. Nope.
Oh my gosh, which you probably wish you could forget at times, especially
we
this
do
time
have to
of year,
ban that every now and
all
again.
the calories, yeah, but it really is a great business. So. When you kind of got your start, how did you get involved with the family business? Did you start, in high school and middle school? Like when was your start?
I didn't think with family there was any labor laws. I probably started when I was about 13. Whether I liked it or not, I didn't. I got fired once in my teenage years. I was unemployed for about 3 weeks. But
so your father fired you?
Actually, he had the manager at the time. Her name was Judy. And if I feared my father, you doubly feared Judy. She was a manager you wanted to keep happy. Trust me. She did teach me how to wrap gifts, which was an art form for a teenage guy at the time. But no, like a lot of people that think they're going to get out of Tiffin and there's bigger, better things out there. It took me a couple years at Ohio State to think, you know what, we've got something here, and we got a great city here, and I had nothing but fond memories of my upbringing. So about my junior year at Ohio State, I tried to do it professionally. I had the big meeting with my dad, the big lunch meeting. He still paid, but
you were a poor college student.
Yeah, I was ramen noodles. But kind of had the meeting, and he said, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's give it a try." And again, no force. You got to do it on your own. Knowing that was going to be the plan, I did switch back and did my last couple semesters at Heidelberg just to get my feet wet. So from then on, it was just a matter of work. When I graduated from Heidelberg, I lived in Carlsbad, California. Actually, it's more of the Santa Monica area, and went to gemology school, which is called Gemological Institute of America. And again, not that you had to do that, but I do attribute that with a lot of my success. You know, you're used to studying in college the maths and to get well-rounded, but this was 9 months of intense gemstones. You know, you see 5,000 diamonds in those months, learn how to grade them. And at the same time, you also mature and you meet, I mean, it's an international industry. You meet people from all over the world. They're your classmates for 9 months. You see them, 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. And it was a great time. It was a great time. So came back in late '94 and started from there.
That's exciting. Yeah. And now both of your sons, correct, are involved in the business.
They are correct. That's
third
kind
generation.
of yes, absolutely. That just happened fairly recently. I didn't know how I was going to feel, but I'm really, really proud. I hope it works out.
If not, is Judy there to fire them?
Unfortunately not. Yeah. We'll have Ray Wise. Ray's been with us 34 years. We'll give him that tough job.
Yep.
But no, my three kids, my daughter, a special ed teacher here locally, her and her husband, we have a daughter, I have a granddaughter, and then my middle son just got married and is moving back from Dublin, the Columbus area. Actually, this week. Actually, he's going to be living upstairs in one of these apartments coming up.
He's going to be one of our new neighbors.
Absolutely, true statement. And then my youngest. So they've started this past summer, and their journey begins. You're always learning something, but proud to have another generation. I hope it works.
Yeah, that really is exciting, because that's what we've heard with a lot of these stories so far, just like yours. It's not just a single generation. The only people that really we've heard that from, I think, so far have been the people that we've had on, that they're the ones that have started the business.
Correct.
Everyone else, there seems to be the story, well, my dad did this or my mother did this. And it's just then that trickle down effect. And I think it's really neat that here again, I knew, but I think most of the people in Tiffin, nobody really knows the story. Heck, most people probably have no idea about Fisk family. And I'm assuming that's where Jeffrey came from?
Jeffrey, okay, so there is a Jeffrey, because even when my dad passed, he's been gone about 10 years now. They said, Ty, this is the moment. This is to give your family the legacy. Cooper jewelry. Cooper, that doesn't have a ring to it. We technically been around since '46. So there is a Jeffrey. So, okay, I hope I get this right. The year's 1946. You don't open one jewelry store. You open three.
Wow.
You open one in Tiffin. You open one in Lancaster. And you open one in Athens. Crazily, only one survives, Tiffin. And at the time, even going into the late 70s, there were at minimum 7 jewelers in Tiffin, Ohio. And it was the Fisk family. And same thing, there's brothers that started it. Hugh was the Barry's father. He's a Tiffinite here. They started, and then another brother had a son that year, 1946. Their name was Jeffrey. It rang. It kind of fit. And I met Jeffrey about 4 years ago. Lives in Florida, still with us.
Wow.
And nice guy. So I met the namesake.
Well, I'll be honest.
It's a simple story, but it's a true story. I
feel like I know all there is to know about Tiffin and Seneca County, and I've always, even myself, that's why I'm like, finally, I can get Ty on here and figure out where on earth did Jeffrey come
usually
from.
Know when a telemarketer's calling when they ask for Jeffrey. Because there is not a Jeffrey. There's the bump moment.
So you can never hire a Jeffrey, or it's going to throw the whole scheme off.
You know what? We have. That's funny you should say it. We have our goldsmith's name is Jeff, but we've not had a Jeffrey. That would be challenging.
That would be very challenging.
They'd have a leg up, that's for sure.
Yep, that is. For sure. So obviously, you all with your business, you're a jewelry store, but why don't you talk a little bit about the different things you carry? I think a lot of folks think, okay, they sell rings and bracelets. Why don't you talk a little bit about some of the out of the norm things that you carry, or some of the most proud product lines that you have out there?
The old days, we used to be called a guild store. I mean, a lot of people, and I even before myself, a jewelry store was your Best Buy, your Walmart, your department store, and your jewelry store are all in one. Sometimes your bank. I mean, you did a lot of layaways and payments and that type of thing. But back then, I mean, if it was electronics, you bought it at a jewelry store. If it was china, forks, anything to serve with, you bought it at a jewelry store. And
really,
I'll tell you, it's crazy. But my father, one of his worst jobs beginning in the industry in the 60s was an electric razor cleaner. So gentlemen would bring them their razors in every couple of weeks, and you're exactly what it sounds like, take it apart. No. Anyway, thank God that doesn't have to do that anymore.
Gosh.
So a guild store was a little bit of everything, and as time went on, some of those offerings and those services went by the wayside. But we've always kind of looked that way. We carry clocks. A lot of people say, do you sell clocks? Do you sell clocks? And I go, hey, oddly, we sell a couple hundred clocks a year. I mean, it's a big seller. Everybody thinks, you have to have that one clock. But I think the world today is so change, that if you like that room in the family room, the clock was there for 5 years, you might change it and get a new clock, that type of thing. We do a lot of giftware with respect to Waterford crystal. We like our bourbon in Seneca County. We like our other ones, and it sure tastes better coming out of a Waterford double old fashioned. But that's one of the name brands that we've been lucky enough. I mean, again, some of these designers, they look at your demographics and they go, Tiffin where? And it has nothing. It's the weirdest thing. It makes no sense to me. But they look at demographics, they look at geographics, and say, do we really need to open up an account there? And why wouldn't you? Yeah. If I can sell your product and represent it properly. But that was one we've been having probably in our fourth decade with that great line. I feel the same with Swarovski, which is an Austrian company. On top of jewelry, they do a lot of the crystal. In fact, I was just telling my boys that this last week, that Swarovski, if anybody knows anything about optics or sights or microscopes, Swarovski is probably the world's best crystal. And when they started making jewelry, made figurines, that was just a toy for them in the 80s. They just said, hey, we got these tools, we got this extra crystal, let's start doing something with it. But again, a name brand that you're not going to see every day of the week. Kendra Scott's one. But with respect to the services, we do a lot of engraving. We have a full shop on the premises. Our goldsmith, we're blessed to have a master goldsmith. Probably 96% of our work is done on premises, and we're going to keep it that way. That's probably the biggest challenge we have moving forward. Try to recruit and keep a good goldsmith. Thank goodness we've had ours for well over a decade. Before that, we had one for around about 36 years. So hopefully we can keep that going a little bit. But Oakley sunglasses, that was another one. That was one that I got the eyebrow raised with my dad. I'm like, it's a luxury product. We're in a business,
which is what you're selling.
Exactly. We're selling wants. We need food, shelter, and clothing. I don't offer that, but we offer things and we present things that usually people want. And it didn't take him long to say, you know what, for the 10 feet of foot square space that takes, good choice. We sell about 550 pair a year.
Oh my gosh!
Again, we've been blessed to have. I mean, we owe it all to our customers. I mean, we have as you know, Tiffinites are the best. Yeah. They are the most loyal. They are. I can't say it enough. We would not be anywhere close to where we are without the help we have with our clients, we have like yourself, people like yourself that help promote, and we got to take care of each other, as you know.
Really is an amazing community.
Crazy.
And just hearing the story, I've learned so much sitting here. This may actually be one of the episodes that we've done so far that I've learned the most, because you think that you know all there is to know until you hear some of these things, and to know that even jewelry stores, so they're called guild stores, right?
Well, again, a guild meant, hey,
store.
Yes, you had your basic grocery store, you had this guild store that would offer all these things, and not much else.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's just
that
incredible.
was like
so
your one-stop shop.
You were one-stop shopping before it was cool, and now everybody brags about one-stop shopping. So, what do you see? Is there any change in impact with like online type of sales?
Yeah.
How does that affect someone like you, who I would think I would never want to buy a piece of jewelry without seeing the darn thing first, especially as a gift for someone? So
that's the what if. It's new, but it's not new. We made a choice. Guys, it's been 25 years probably now, that we do our best work in person. We do our best work one-on-one, and we're not trying to compete with Jeff Bezos by any means. You know, any of those. We can't, and nor would we want to.
You'd put yourself out of business if you tried to compete directly with Amazon.
For sure. So, you know, we know we have to be competitive. We know we have to give them something that they can't get, you know, elsewhere. And I'm not going to say it hasn't been challenging. I used to talk to the local like furniture stores when, hey, this started happening. We're like, well, at least you have this big freight to deal with.
Yeah.
We don't. You know, you can put a diamond in a little envelope like that and have it in Timbuktu tomorrow. But I'll be honest with you, it really hasn't factored that much. It's just kept us tight, for lack of a better term. It's kept us, you know, nose on the prize, eyes on the prize, and it's one of those that price. We've done so many research. Price is usually not the number one thing that forces a sale or causes a sale. It's got to be part of it.
I'm 100%.
It's got to be part, but it's usually, in most cases in my world, it's not number one. And we just looked at ourselves, and I talked to other jewelries in this. We got to ask yourself, do you want to compete? I mean, yeah, of course we do. Some people choose not to. Some stores and businesses choose not to. Well, I can't compete with that. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to compete with price. You can compete in other ways. You can bring whatever you bring best to the table, bring it there. And it should take care of itself.
Well, you've proven that. And I think, like you said, the people that live in Tiffin-Seneca County are very loyal.
Very.
You know, we go to our local jewelers, we go to our local car dealerships, and we're very big on that. And I think it's because so many organizations, from the chamber to TSEP to the mayor's office to the commissioners, everybody's preaching local, because it's you guys who are the ones that are sponsoring sports teams or giving to this auction or this fundraiser or whatever. It's not the big corporate stores doing any of that. And that's why we have to support folks.
Has to work that way. Has to. Yep.
So what to you is entrepreneurship? What would you say it is, and then how would you give some advice to other people looking to start their own business or get into some type of a business like entrepreneurship type?
For me, and again, I've been blessed. I've been blessed that, you know, I saw it with, you know, speaking of threads, and actually, you know, Kelly, when she took over Washington Street last year, I was able to grow, mature, and learn in an existing business, in an existing successful business. But with respect to the real estate we've had, I mean, we've had a couple times we're like, oh, we need to fill those things like quick now. For me, it's just a matter of knowing you have to have a goal. Whether that goal is to sell X amount of units, employ X amount of people, generate X amount of volume, you have to have a goal in mind. And for me, I try to take all those as a mix, as one. In fact, I was just at the store putting a spiff together. We're going to have some fun. That's the other thing I've tried to incorporate into my life lately. I probably like you're bored at night, you're watching a Reels or a LinkedIn video or something. And I've just seen with a lot of successful millionaires and billionaires, at the end of the day, these entrepreneurs usually use the word fun at some point. You got to have some fun. You got to enjoy some part of this. If you get up and dread the next 12 hours, it's just not going to happen. It's just impossible. That we're not wired that way. And so for me, I always try to, you know, make it light. I always say, hey, we're all here for the same purpose. What is that purpose? And again, you can answer that question in your own way. Whether that's to make payroll, kind of important. Whether that's to grow, whether that's to have another location, whatever it may be, we're going to be here. Now, we can be here happily, we can be here productively, we can be here, or we cannot.
Exactly.
And that's for me, I guess it's just one of those that, hey, you're the captain of the ship. With being an entrepreneur, it's a big ship. You can go this way, you can go this way. You can't go this way. You know, you got to be moving. You got to always have something. But for me, it's just a matter. I see it with people that have run in from me. And again, I'm not going to act like I'm God's gift to any of this. I'm not. But I see where the energy's there. But sometimes it's a matter of, are you undercapitalized? Do you have the what if situation? Hey, what if there's a snowstorm? Hey, what if my employees can't make it today? And there has to be answers.
What if there's
to
a
these
glable
questions.
pandemic and you can't open your door?
Something we never would have factored in on that.
And hopefully never again.
But there has to be these answers that you can't just say, all right, I've always liked to make X. It's my hobby. I make it on weekends. I make the best widget in the world. Now I'm going to sell them. We're not there yet.
Yep.
It's a start. First, you got to ask yourself, can it survive? Can it be self-sufficient and generate a profit? Okay, we're still moving.
Yep, still moving.
But for me, it's a matter of an entrepreneur takes all those pieces and it's building a puzzle. And it's almost like training for a marathon. The hardest part is getting to the starting line, not the finish line, the starting. And same thing, when you're an entrepreneur, putting all these things together, opening day is almost like the celebration. Hopefully you've done everything right. And at that point, I'm not going to say it's easy. Believe me, it's not. But you put yourself in the best position to survive and to be successful. But for me, it's always and it took me a long time to feel this way or understand this way. The journey is every bit as important as the end. As I learned, there isn't an end for Jeffrey Jory now, hopefully my sons can buy me out someday and I can go prop my feet up in Tahiti and see what happens. But no, I mean, that's how you have to look at it. You got to look at it, heaven forbid something happens to you. Did you build this, again, I'm going to use the word widget. Did you build this to be self-sufficient, to continue? Hopefully you did.
Yep. A lot of work goes into it, and I don't think that's what people realize. The work on the front end, just like you said, to get you to the point of even opening, that's when 90% of your pre-work is done. Once you're open, like you said, that's the celebration. As long as you've built the model correctly and you keep on it, things then can continue to go well, because I'm a big believer in things never stay the same.
Oh, no.
They either get better or worse. There is no such thing as staying the same, because all of your competition is getting better or worse.
Absolutely.
So you cannot stay the same.
Nope.
You have to continue to adapt, and that's the mindset of an entrepreneur. It's just like you said, you're sitting at home, and whether I'm reading a book, whether I'm scrolling on my phone, it's the same thing. Whether it's for TCEP or other businesses we work with, it's how can I incorporate this? How can I do? Your mind is constantly turning and running.
So you wake up at 3 a.m. with a thought and you jot
Oh, of
it
course.
down?
That's why I keep a notebook next to the bed.
Same way.
Because I'm the same way. I wake up at 3 a.m. I don't want to forget about it. So I jot the thing down in the dark, usually looking like, like looking like somebody blind kind of wrote the thing in there. But yeah, I do the same thing because I don't want to forget it. Because the time you go back to sleep, you wake up, and then the world's problems are on your shoulders then, because you're awake and you forgot about that dream or the idea you had. So yeah, I think a lot of being an entrepreneur is also willing to be a dreamer and a risk taker.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, we really appreciate you on today. Is there anything else you want to add about the business or anything other cool stories? I've learned so much about Ty and the Cooper family.
Again, I appreciate you having me in. No, you guys have been doing an amazing job. Amazing job.
Thank you.
I've been on the board a few different times in the past, and the energy here is phenomenal.
It's contagious.
But let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. But no, hoping for a good Christmas season, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, hey, happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us.
Take care. Yep.